Everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the King of the Ring podcast. My name's Anthony, and today we're going to be doing Extreme Rules 2015. When I was watching it, it's called mildly Extreme Rules. So let us know in the comment section below what you think of the show. Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? Are we not that bothered after watching it? I thought it was all right. There was some surprising spots. There was some all right moves, and I just we'll talk about the card when we get into it. So normally, if you've listened to the King of the Ring podcast, I don't cover the sort of kickoff show that normally features people that normally no one cares about, that don't get a reaction, or, they just throw them there because there's nothing for them to do. But in this case, because Daniel Bryan is injured, they were going to have a Intercontinental match with Bad News Barrett. But, like I said, Daniel Bryan's injured, so instead of just not using Bad News Barrett, they thought, well, we can throw him into the match. And they put him up against Adrian Neville. And this is awesome. The two British guys who I really like are fighting out in the kickoff show. So I decided to watch the highlights on YouTube. I was like, I need to watch this, and it looked like an awesome match. And I really think that they're pushing Adrian Neville really well. He's being put against mid sort of tier opponents and slightly higher opponents. I mean, hell, his first match was against Seth Rollins, and he's been living up to it. He's been getting good babyface reactions when he comes to the ring, and when he's doing his spots, like the Red Arrow, he's getting big pops. So that's good. And plus, he's incredibly diverse with his moves in the ring and the way he does it, and the psychology of his moves, when he's doing all the flips and all the different things. I mean, I think it was the Dolph Ziggler match where he walked on the barricade and then did a 450 splash. That's insane. That's the sort of stuff I want to see from Neville in the future, and I really think he will do quite well. It's just, obviously he's good in the ring, but what's his character? He's called Neville, but what does he do? I mean, what's his thing? He needs mic time to connect with the people. And if he doesn't go over on the mic, then I don't think he's going to go very far. I think he'll be mid-carder at most. But so far so good. Obviously, we've got to just see how things turn out, because when you've looked in the past when people have debuted, sometimes they just slowly fade into obscurity and then form a tag team and then end up going nowhere. So, but Neville surprisingly picks up a win here against Bad News Barrett, and hit him with the Red Arrow as well. And there was some really awesome spots in this match. Just the way Adrian Neville ducked and dodged out the way, and the way he went about certain moves. I thought he really made this match different, because this could have just been a boring, generic match, but the way he went about his moves is really interesting to watch. And whether or not this is just a one-off, or they're going to incorporate some kind of British rivalry with Bad News Barrett and Adrian Neville, like the North versus sort of the Midlands, because Bad News Barrett's from Manchester area. So be interesting to see what they do. But I would definitely would love to see some more Bad News Barrett versus Adrian Neville, because I was eating that match up. I thought it was going to be shit, and it turned out to be really entertaining. And yeah, so let us know. Would you want to see this, or did you just like the one-off kickoff show? So the next match is something I just don't give a flying shit about. It's Sheamus versus Dolph Ziggler in a kiss me ass match. Now, how is this a thing? How? Um, this whole idea is just incredibly stupid. How did this get on the card? Like, I don't know. I mean, it was a physical match, and you know, that's what I enjoyed about this match. You know, just the spots, like the way that these moves looked, and you could feel like this the power from these moves, like when he does that tilt-a-whirl uh, power slam, and like stuff like that, like Ziggler's DDT, and like don't get us wrong, I think these can do some good work together. I just don't think that this match was, you know, I don't know, like it was all right. I mean, the finish. Let's get straight to the finish. Um, a small package. Now, why on pay-per-view still like matches finishing like roll-ups and like small packages? I don't get it. So basically, what happens? We'll get straight to the point of this match. Um, like basically, so Dolph Ziggler wins off a small package, right? Sheamus is going mental outside, shouting at everyone, and he's like Ziggler's in the middle of the ring, pulling his tights up a little bit, like he's trunks, pulling them up. And like Sheamus, it's like he keeps looks like he's gonna do it, and then like he's like no no no, walks away. And then eventually, after a while, which went on way too long in my opinion, he low blows Dolph Ziggler and bro kicks him. I thought that was really good. That's what you want to see from a heel. Like he just doesn't follow the rules and stipulations of the match that was set out. I thought that was pretty cool in my opinion. Um, there's been there was some good spots in this match, like the DDT on the outside. Um, that super Dolph Ziggler hit like an awesome super kick. Um, that's what they're gonna do with Dolph Ziggler. I think Dolph Ziggler needs to be in a story right now. I think he needs to be in a story with someone who can put on, and I think what a great chance that would be for Adrian Neville to step up, because Adrian Neville and Dolph Ziggler sell moves really well, and I feel like they're both high flying, they're both technical, and I both think they would go out of the way to steal the show and like make it the best match of the night. And overall, in my opinion, this was a match that really could have just happened on Raw. I don't think this should have been on the pay-per-view. I think this was a Raw match, but it was a solid match. It was a decent match. It wasn't a bad match. It was just I wasn't really that into it, so I didn't really get excited for any of the spots or for any like for the finish, etc. So we'll move on to the next match, and surprisingly, another match I'm not really that bothered about. Um, it is the New Day versus Cesaro and Tyson Kidd, who are the champions. Now, I love Cesaro and Tyson Kidd because they're just pure wrestling. That's what I like. I like the sort of like the way that they go about themselves. I think that really is a good tag team. You haven't seen a tag team like that in a long time, and I think they're doing well. I think the reason for the result of this match is I just think that Cesaro and Tyson Kidd, they don't get reactions unless there's smarks in the crowd, and I feel like that's like Vince and the people back there, like the people with the belts need to be able to get reactions, either good or bad, and I feel like they just get like a meh. They just get like a but like they're not really, whatever. And obviously you've got the people who watch and love wrestling and know the ins and outs of every move, appreciate them, but they don't really have characters per se. They have that fact thing that they do, that the best tag team fact, that sort of stuff. That's pretty shit, to be honest with you. That's not gonna get you nowhere. And I just feel like if they had more of a gimmick and they tried harder to get like crowd reactions, you know what I mean? Like taunting and like doing stuff to get, or like trying to get the crowd pumped up if they're like a baby face, or like taunt the crowd and like disrespect them and stuff as like a heel, I think that would work a lot better. I feel like this match would have carried a bit more sort of weight with like the casual viewer. Um, but so in the end, um, the crowd was just behind Cesaro and Tyson Kidd because obviously they love wrestling, and these guys are wrestlers. They're not sports entertainers. And so like New Day have been getting this gimmick recently where it's like New Day sucks, right? New Day does suck because the gimmick is god awful. The people inside of it don't necessarily suck. I mean, it's not their fault they've been stuck with a shitty gimmick and not much of a chance to show what they can do to the fans. And even if they do, I don't think they're ever going to get anywhere. And that's sad, I just think this match was one of the more weaker matches on the card. I mean, there was some pretty awesome spots. Like pretty awesome moves. I love that swing into the dropkick. I think that's pretty sweet. But basically, the New Day win, and you have to think to yourself, why did New Day win? Is that because they're getting a lot of stick, and they're trying to like make them into a heel like trio where they had to steal a win in order to win? Are they going to make them stereotypical black guy thing in where, they do it, what WWE's like. WWE are very subtly racist, and I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the commentary team were like, they were stealing a victory, and I thought, oh, that's a bit on the line there, you know what I mean? Maybe I'm just looking into it too much, but an average match, New Day picks up the tag team titles. Where are they going to go from this? I can't see them doing much. I think they'll end up dropping the tag team belts to either the Usos or Cesaro and Tyson Kidd again. That's if they last very long after this. And basically, this was one of my more. It was more of a fun match than like a good match. Was Ambrose versus Luke Harper in the Chicago Street Fight. So Luke Harper and Dean Ambrose were like fighting everywhere, right? They were hitting each other with weapons, like cool spots, like kendo sticks, chairs, just everything, right? And one of the best parts of the match, or the show even, was when they were backstage where the docking bay is, and like Luke Harper was he tried to get away in the car, and Dean Ambrose jumped in, they drove away. That was pretty awesome, that. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was a cool part of the show. And when they came back, the New Day were getting interviewed, and Dean Ambrose went to jump on Harper from on top of the car, and he landed on the New Day instead. And it was just like the finish itself, like just the way everything was in this match, I thought was really, really cool. And I think that now Dean Ambrose has to go into some kind of story. I feel like if he doesn't, I feel like he's not really gonna get used as much. And Dean Ambrose is like, the crowd love him, right? He's massive baby face. He gets great pops. He got a great pop tonight in Chicago because they think that Dean Ambrose should be in the title picture. I think an awesome match would have been to have Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins at this time, after Seth Rollins cashed in at WrestleMania. I think this would have been a great thing to have, to go back to the original story of now that Seth Rollins is the champ, to have them feud together. I think that would be pretty interesting. But yet again, Luke Harper putting in another good shift. Luke Harper is such a good utility wrestler. He can do it all. He's surprisingly quick, agile. He's strong as hell, and he can do all sorts of stuff. And he's got loads of different wrestling moves that I've seen him do through the indies and stuff. And I think he needs to do a few more moves for the fans to sort of go, ooh, that was different. Because I feel like Luke Harper really hasn't, obviously he doesn't really have a chance to talk on the mic, so he kind of develop his character per se. But it was a solid match, solid match. If I was gonna have to pick my favorite match of the night, I would say this was probably it. This and the Big Show Roman Reigns match, surprisingly. I never thought I would say that, considering I don't like Big Show or Roman Reigns that much. So yeah, this was solid match. I would definitely suggest watching this match more than any of the other matches. So I thought this one was pretty fun. So the next match, oh my god, I ended up just completely zoning out in this match. There was long periods of time in this match I just didn't know what was going on. I didn't care. I don't know. I just felt like it went on a lot longer. And the idea of it's just not that interesting. I don't feel like it suits these two. I feel like they need to do something different. It's another Cena classic. You think he's beaten and he comes back and he wins. The classic John Cena wins, lol. Because John Cena keeps winning as the United States champion doesn't make the United States champion more sought after. It doesn't make the title better. If you're putting on good matches against people who the crowd actually want to see, then that makes it more entertaining. They're doing this thing with Lana. The crowd likes Lana more than Rusev for obvious reasons, and the teasing a sort of breakup. They're going to end up breaking up, and Lana's going to go off and do her own thing. I don't know what she would do. I don't know if she actually wrestles properly. It'll be interesting to see if she actually tried to. I'm all about it. Give her an opportunity to do so. Attitude adjustment. John Cena wins. So let's move on, because you don't want to watch this match. It was awful. So the next match was Naomi versus Nikki Bella. What the hell was Naomi's entrance? Yeah. So, Nikki Bella has been the champ. Oh God, I can't even. When she become champ? I cannot remember, guys. Let us know in the comments. I cannot remember. And she's been in some alright matches, and this was just meh. You know what I mean? It was just it was the typical sort of heel champion, heel Davis champion. Bray with the distraction outside, and then hits the rack attack, and it's over. But I thought Naomi looked alright in this match. I mean, she was doing some. She was doing some alright moves, and she was dominating for quite a few parts of the match. And it's interesting to see what they're going to do with Naomi. I mean, obviously, they built her up to the pay-per-view and she lost, so are they going to make her try and go at it again, make this sort of hungry, determined person to get back into the picture at all costs? Who knows? I'm all about Nikki Bella as champ, but I feel like for her to really shine, she needs to not have Bray there, because I think Bray holds her back. Obviously, because Bray's just got awful, and Nikki Bella's one, she's got the look for the Divas champion. You know what I mean? She's stunning, yet she possesses the actual capabilities of wrestling in the ring. And actually, I mean, obviously with the Divas matches, the fans' attention span on the Divas matches is obviously quite short, and I think making the Divas matches slightly longer doesn't make them better. I feel like this was an alright match. It wasn't amazing. But it'll be interesting to see if this, comes back on Raw. To see what they do. They might do something, Cameron might get involved with Naomi, and they might form like a heel like duet to like first the Bella twins. Who knows? That might be pretty interesting, I suppose. Better than what she's doing at the minute, that's for damn sure. So Nikki Bella wins. How long is she going to keep being champion? I think when you had AJ for champ for so long, it got pretty boring. I think, to be honest, with nowadays sort of audience and the attention span of many different people, because I mean, I've got a job like watching wrestling, like after it's far and few between, but it'd be interesting to see. Sort of, I think 6 months it should be a champ, like 6 months. If you're like shit hot, then a bit longer. But like, I feel like when you're starting to go over a year, like the whole CM Punk thing, you sort of like you want them to lose it to someone else just to like change it up. Who can be the next Divas champion? I mean, Paige is off doing a film. Natalia. I mean, right. I forgot to mention this. Natalia looked smoking tonight. I think she needs to have that sort of look to her. Almost like biker chickish, but like with like some kind of like metal aspect, like on top, and like glam with like the shoulder pads. I thought that looked pretty cool. But I think Natalia should have a shot. I think that'd be pretty interesting to see. Maybe have a triple threat: Naomi, Natalia, and Nikki Bella, the triple N, the N connection, and at the next pay-per-view, it's Payback. So who knows? So we've got the next match, which, in my opinion, when this got announced, I was like, oh, for God's sake. Do you just sit there and you just think, why? You've done this before, no one cares. You're going to do it again? Surprisingly, it was a good match. You know what I mean? This had spots and spots everywhere. Just cool moves after cool moves. And I thought Big Show was going to get superplexed through them double tables. I was getting ready, mate. I was like, damn. Instead, Big Show chokeslammed the shit out of Roman Reigns outside. And that was pretty awesome. There was, like, the thing is, right, obviously they're going to make Roman Reigns look unbelievably strong. But they're making him look like John Cena. You know what I mean? He might as well come down with the Never Give Up towel and have John Cena's entrance. He is John Cena. He's trying to, like, you could tell tonight he was just going a bit extreme just to please the fans, so he wasn't getting booed out of the building. There was a few cool spots. Obviously, that to do the generic spear through the barricade. What is this, bloody 2K? There was loads of tables. After him at the finish was pretty cool. Roman Reigns ran and jumped and speared Big Show from the American announce table, and they both fell through the Spanish announce table. That was a pretty awesome spot, the spear. Sort of like Edge, Chris Jericho, where he ran across the tables and speared him. It was a pretty cool match, and then Roman Reigns lifted up the American announce table and like pushed it on top of Big Show and like stood on top and like ended up winning. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if this somehow petered out until Payback, because WWE has a habit of doing that. Roman Reigns, he's not getting booed as much, but like, I don't know, I still feel like he has to do something different. You know what I mean? I'm starting to feel like he's becoming John Cena, and that's bad. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to have this sort of like, oh, you can beat us up, but I'll still get back up attitude. You know what I mean? I just think it's a boring gimmick. You know what I mean? Like everyone starts to hate John Cena at some point because he wins every match when you think he's been beaten. But they both took big bumps and they both got absolutely beat to hell, and that made the last man standing match aspect of it really cool, because in last man standing I think you should both be bleeding and both be almost like crippled, well, selling that you're almost like crippled in like sort of pain and agony and stuff. And Roman Reigns looking strong again. What they're going to do with him, I personally think that they need to do something with him, otherwise he's just going to get stuck in a loop of versing the same old people like Big Show, Kane, Ryback, just people that aren't doing anything. So let us know what you think of it. So tonight's main event was the Extreme sort of Rules cage match. This match wasn't really extreme at all. Having a cage match is like, I don't know, like, you'd think, a cage match is the main event. That could be alright, but they didn't use the cage enough. Like this match wasn't main event quality. You know what I mean? It was like an average match that you just knew that Kane was going to interfere and like come into the match and try and like cost like Seth Rollins the match, and he ended up choke slamming both of them and like J&J security and that, and he put Seth Rollins over Randy Orton, and Randy Orton kicks out. Randy Orton hit the pedigree on Seth Rollins. I was marking out at that point. That was pretty awesome. And Randy Orton hit the RKO on Kane, right? And then Seth Rollins hit the RKO on Randy Orton, which was hilarious, right? It's like on the old wrestling games where you could steal people's finishes. And then Seth Rollins clambers out the ring and wins. Now, I thought that was awesome. What a way to make the champion, who's got this sort of like, what's the sort of word I'm looking for, where he like runs away, like almost like a coward gimmick, where it like when the going gets tough, he like tries to run away and stuff. I think that's pretty cool. And I feel like this, like Seth Rollins and Randy Orton can do something alright, but I feel like Randy Orton needs to be doing something different. Obviously the crowd's right behind him because of the whole RKO thing, but I think Seth Rollins should have had someone a bit different. They could have I just felt like they need to use the cage more. I mean, they didn't really use it. There was like one or two spots where they sort of chucked each other into it, and then the superplex. Michael Cole was like, oh, superplex off the top of the cage. Like, Seth Rollins was hanging over the cage. It wasn't off the top. He was hanging from the top. If he was off the top, that would have been insane. That would have put his back out. You know what I mean? If they were both standing on the top and then he superplexed him into the ring. Oh man, that would have been insane. But so Seth Rollins retains. He's still the WWE champion. Where's he gonna go? I don't know. I would love him to go against Dean Ambrose again, because man, there put some quality matches on. You know what I mean? They put on some really good matches. So hopefully Seth Rollins goes back into a feud with Dean Ambrose. So sorry about that. So let us know what you think of the show. I'm gonna give it on a scale probably a 6.5 out of 10. I think that a lot of average matches really sort of caught like this show off guard, and I feel like only really the Dean Ambrose match and the the Adrian Neville match, and a few the maybe a few spots from a few of the other matches really kept it going. I really felt like they could have done something a bit different to spice up. And I mean, the crowd were pretty decent tonight. I felt like they added a bit more to the show than you know than the last crowd, that's for sure. But so let us know your score in the comments of Extreme Rules, and I'll see you next month for that payback review. See you later, guys.